Good evening, everyone. My name is Vanand, and I happen to be the program director for undergraduate courses at IMS. So, as most of you have been IMS students, and there could be non-IMS students also, IMS students for entrance tests for admissions after 12. It could be for 3-year programs, 5-year programs, and as you know, we are largely into the non-technical aptitude entrance. So, we are in BBA, BCA, hotel management, IPM, mass communication, all the programs which are aptitude test based, and we train students for admissions into all these programs. So today with us we have a very senior mentor, Dr. Professor Vaidyanathan Jayaraman. He has been the Dean of UG programs at SP Jain Global, all campuses. Earlier, he was the Principal and Associate Dean at the Great Lakes Institute of Management, Chennai. He was also Senior Faculty of Supply Chain Operations and Analytics at University of Miami, Florida. His qualification list is very long, but let me try and summarize it to the best of my ability. He has done MS in Mathematical Sciences, MBA in Management IT from Akron, US. He has also done his MS in Operations Research. Well, I barely passed that subject in my MBA. So doing an MS is a different level altogether. PhD in Operations and Supply Chain Management from Ohio State University. He has been involved in consulting assignments with several Fortune 100 companies. With 25 plus years of teaching and research experience, Dr. Vaidyanathan has won numerous awards for teaching and research. He has 100 plus research articles to his credit on supply chain, and he has close to 12,000 plus citations of his work. This is a very, very brief summary, and I can go on and on. But in the interest of time, I think it's time for me to stop and let Professor Vaidyanathan speak about SP Jain Global program. Over to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Good evening, people. I'm so glad that, so thankful for IMS to give this opportunity for us, but I'm also thankful to all the participants who signed up at 7 p.m. India time for this, webinar. So let me spend a few minutes talking to you people about SP Jain School of Global Management. Personally, for me, I've been very blessed. Thank you, Anand, for the introduction. It's very sweet of you. I've been very blessed to have traveled extensively around the world. I've taught in many top-notch B schools in the US, where I spent most of my time growing up. But I also taught in top-notch B schools in India, Singapore, China, UK. And the reason I want to mention this to you people is because if you look at what we offer in SP Jain, one of the primary reasons why I decided to take up this job as a global dean of all the undergrad programs in Sydney, Singapore, Dubai, and Mumbai was I was pretty fascinated with the model we have over here. Just imagine for a second, students and your parents, if they're signed in, imagine for a second, you're probably 17 years old, 18 years old, if you will. I wish I had the opportunity you guys have now. What is that? So imagine you're 18 years old and you have this opportunity to join this amazing institution of higher learning, and you get to go to multiple cities across the world. Okay, it's not just any city. These are major cities, major global markets, financial markets. So we look at globally speaking. Ask yourself, where are the major global financial markets? Well, people will talk about Wall Street, New York. People will talk about London. People will talk about Sydney, Singapore, Dubai, Japan, and to a large extent, Mumbai. We currently are in at least 4 of the top 7. Okay, we have a presence in Mumbai, presence in Sydney, presence in Singapore, presence in Dubai. And I'm going to let you guys know a secret. Next year, there's a pretty good chance that we'll also open a campus in London. So what am I trying to convey to you people? So imagine this opportunity where you get admitted to SP Jain School of Global Management. You spend year 1, perhaps in Singapore, and take classes in Singapore, get to work on an internship in a local company in Singapore, and then move on to Dubai take classes in Dubai. End of year 2, get an internship in Dubai and work with a real company on real problems and real data. Then move to Sydney, year number 3. Take classes in Sydney, year number 3. Summer of year number 3, again, get an internship in Sydney. Work in Sydney on internship. Move on to year number 4. Take classes, graduate, and get a job. Why? Point number 1. SP Jain School of Global Management is an Australian university, which means the degree you're going to get is an Australian undergrad degree, which means it comes with a lot of, what I would call as, it's got a lot of credibility, globally speaking. You go to Canada, you go to US, you go to Europe, of course, you go to Australia, it's an Australian degree, point number 1. Point number 2, because it's an Australian degree and you get to spend time in Sydney for at least 2 years, after you complete your undergrad degree, you're eligible for what is called as a post-study work rights, or in plain, simple English, you can legally work in Australia for at least 2 years. Point number 3, not only are you going to be studying in these wonderful cities in your journey in SP Jain, you also get to work on internships. Think about this. You're 18 years old, 19 years old. You're actually going to work on real problems with real people, with real companies, on real data. How can you ever do better than that? Right? That's a question. Number 4, it's not just, we take a lot of pride. The reason why we are also ranked globally, look at all the Financial Times, Business Week rankings. The reason we are also ranked is because when I use the phrase, we are student-centric, what I mean is, as a dean, I put my students right up there in the front and center. Which means what? Which means that over and beyond what we do in the classroom. By the way, we take our classroom very seriously. Curriculum, amazing faculty. These are faculty where more than 80% of faculty have a PhD. And most important, all of them come with industry experience. So they can walk the walk, talk the talk. So while we can never ever compromise on the classroom education, I also pay a lot of attention to outside the classroom experience. Right? For me, student experience is absolutely very important. What does it mean? I just don't talk about it. In every campus, I have at least one manager whose title is Student Life Experience, Student Global Learning. All they do 24/7, 365 is to ensure that you as a student are going to get an amazing experience, which means you have any issues, whether it's academic, where I get involved, or non-academic, where they get involved. I get involved both of them, by the way. It's about trying to be proactive, so we're able to address all your problems and concerns right away. People ask me the question, isn't it difficult for someone who's 18 years old to go to one city and then from city 1 to 2 to 3? No, because we have a great system in place. There's a very seamless transition that takes place when someone goes from, say, Singapore to Dubai, or Dubai to Singapore, as the case may be, and then from there on to Sydney. We have people, just to give you an example, again, all the campuses, we have a visa officer. We have a visa team, for example, which takes care of all the, to ensure documentation, whatnot. We take a job very seriously, people. The reason why we are so well known and very highly ranked because we take a lot of pride in what we're doing. And for us, student satisfaction, student experience is number 1, number 2, number 3, number N. Okay, you don't compromise on that. So in that sense, so think about this model. This model cannot be imitated easily. This model cannot be replicated. Tell me one B school. And like I said, the reason I spoke about my own experiences, I taught in top-notch B schools. In many of my B schools in the US, they send a student on maybe a semester abroad program for 3 months. There are many schools in India where they send students on maybe like a global immersion. Maybe you go for half a year. You know, there are schools in India where they send them to Germany for half a year or maybe a year. But what we do is we go beyond that. It's not just you guys traveling to different cities. It's about getting to experience the local culture, okay? Participating, you know, in the local activities, getting to meet some amazing leaders. Part of the outside the class experience to take you guys on industry visits. I'll give you one example. I'm now sitting in Dubai, okay? And this current batch, we have year 1, year 2 over here in Dubai now. We took them to amazing places. They went, you know, things like Ferrari World, okay? Things like, you know, Dubai, you know, resort and parks. We took them to companies. You know, there's a beautiful place called Sustainable City. Took them on a field trip. A lot of activities, case studies, you know, group discussion. And you might say, wait a minute, how are you able to do it with all this current pandemic? Well, I'm sitting in what is called as Dubai International Academic City. I have at least 15 universities surrounding SP Jain. Guess what? We are the only institute where we are offering face-to-face classes. I repeat, we're the only ones offering face-to-face. Why? How? Well, we take a lot of care in terms of infrastructure. Any given day, the local authorities, what is called as KHDA, okay, which is a Knowledge and Human Development Association of Dubai, they do random inspections, random testing. They go to all our offices, they go to our classroom, they go to our washrooms, and they make sure we're able to maintain, okay, a certain level of sanitation, okay? So we're the only institution where we're offering face-to-face classes even today. Matter of fact, this is the last week of classes. They just finished the exams, they're out. But my point is the last many months, we've been having classes face-to-face in Dubai, okay? So a lot of great things that I can talk about SP Jain, but to me, at the end of the day, it's very simple, people. What you get is not a piece of paper. The degree you're going to carry with you, the degree you're going to get, either it's a 4-year degree or a 3-year degree. We'll talk about different degrees we offer at the undergrad level. That degree matters. I'll tell you why it matters. It matters because our goal over here is to make you a business-ready manager from day 0. You might have, how? Well, think about this. Internship, 3 different internships in 3 different cities. So it's not just a classroom, you know, experience, not just textbooks, but you get a personal day-to-day, you know, the 4 months in summer, guess what, where students are? The students are working on internships. And many of them go back to India as well to do internship. That's fine. But my point is they're trying to pretty much apply what they learned in the classroom, you know, on the job, so to speak. So when they graduate, number one, they become business-ready management day 0. But most important, our goal is to completely transform you. You know, the best emails that I get that I really enjoy, is emails from parents and students who go like, you know, parents especially, they go like, you're not sure what you did to my son or daughter. When they came back for a vacation, they seem to be so calm. They actually want to spend time with us. They want to go for dinner with us. They want to go for a movie with us. I mean, not in the current pandemic situation, but generally speaking. So we spend a lot of effort. It's not just IQ. It's not just EQ, but also a lot of SQ, spiritual quotient, right? So we take care of that. We make sure, and I tell my students, I can teach you anything, everything. But what I cannot teach you is attitude. So we try to train students to have a very positive attitude. Here's a phrase I use frequently in my classrooms and my meetings. If your ego is bigger than your logo, you go. So why get stressed out? Why think negative, right? So there's a constant, constant way for us to kind of, enforce the whole idea of positivity, the whole idea of thinking, look at the half glass that's full as opposed to empty. A lot of things go on outside the classroom, but we never ever compromise on the classroom experience. We got amazing profs from all over the world. At any given time, we have professors from, US. Many of us have been trained. I spent 27 years in the US before I came back. Right? Trained in the US. Many of them are trained in US. Many from Australia. Okay. We got faculty, of course, amazing people in India, of course. Okay. We got students from more than 35 countries. Let me repeat again. 35 countries. So imagine, people, the peer-to-peer interaction you're going to have. You have students from, say, Vietnam, Indonesia, Korea, China, right? Ghana, Mauritius, okay? And Central Asia, okay? You get to rub shoulders with many of them from different parts of the world. So imagine you're 20 years old, think about the amazing exposure you get. And many of my students actually also come from family-owned businesses. So they all want to go back either after working for a couple of years, or they want to go back and take over their family business. But imagine the exposure they're going to get. Students from different parts of the world, different market conditions, different culture, okay, different habits. Geez, this is going to make you guys amazingly, what I call as transformed to become a better person who can then go back and start leading your own organization or work for an amazing company, okay, from day zero. So lots and lots of things I can talk about, but I also want to spend some time taking up questions. I know a lot of people have many questions. We are happy to answer as many as we can. At the end of the day, if you're going to ask, why should I join SP Jain School of Global Management? My answer is very simple. Do you want to get transformed? Do you want to get exposed to different cultures? When I say culture, I'm talking about the local culture. I'm talking about the org culture, company culture. Also getting to know students from different parts of the world, getting to work on real projects with real people, with real data, okay? And then having this amazing opportunity to work. You might say, okay, do we have some data? Absolutely, I have enough data. Now you look at our undergrad from, who just graduated last year, 2020. Look at our undergrads who are going to graduate now, this month of May, okay? May 15th, we just had a batch graduating. Pretty much our placement percentage is amazingly high. I mean, we're talking about companies, not just I told you about the two-year post-study work rights you get in Australia. So most students, when they actually, start working in a company in Australia, in the 2-year span, they're also able to pretty much convert it into residency. They get the permit, if you will, right? So we have students who work all over the world. Many decide to go back to India. Many are working in Australia. I have a bunch of people in Dubai as we speak today. I have a bunch of people who decide to go to UK, okay? And many of them, because they got a very solid education, they want to go back and pick up a master's degree. So they all applied, and we have many students of mine for whom I've signed recommendation letters, reference letters, who actually decided to go and get a postgraduate education. So my point is, you have infinite amount of possibilities. I've not gone, in India as an example, I've not gone to a single airport where I've not come across a student who goes like, oh yeah, we took your class 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and we go back to the beautiful memories we had. So in that sense, we have an amazing system in place, and I'm very proud to say this, and I'm saying it with a lot of respect. It's very difficult to replicate the system. Not that people cannot open campuses in 4 different cities. But just the structure we have in terms of this being an Australian degree, just the structure we have in terms of internship process, just the structure we have in terms of taking care of student experience or global learning, industry visits, guest speakers, lots and lots of competition, even in this current pandemic. I mean, if you're on LinkedIn, you can see we have lots and lots of competition. We just had one yesterday on critical thinking, right? I had one that I judged last week. I had more than 150 students participate in this amazing competition. So of course, all online, virtual, but hopefully as we progress towards September, okay, things are going to get, I keep my fingers crossed, praying that things are going to get better so we can start offering face-to-face experience for all our students, okay, going forward. Like I said, I can go on and on, but I believe Mr. Anand and his team might have some queries. I'm going to have, I'm sure many of you guys also have queries. So I want to spend a lot of time today responding to your queries. That's very important for me to respond to the queries. So I'm going to stop now, and the floor is open, Mr. Anand and Ms. Sweda. I want to make sure your time is well spent. Now, like I said, I can spend an hour just talking about SP Jain, but I want to talk about stuff which matters to you. Okay, and all of you might have your own queries, own issues, own concerns. Okay, so I want to make sure we're able to take up as many questions as we can. If there are certain questions which are very specific, I would request you to go to our website. The one thing we're very, very careful, people. We are absolutely transparent. Meaning, if someone says, hey, what's my fee structure? I say, request you, spjain.org. Go click on undergrad, okay? Look at the admissions fee, everything we're giving you. Okay, year 1, Singapore, cost. Year 2, Dubai, cost. Year 3, Sydney, cost. Nothing for us to hide, okay? Because we want to be transparent, and most important, we want to be accountable, because your parents are paying a lot of money. Okay, so you want to be absolutely transparent and accountable. So anyways, I'll stop now. When I say stop, what I mean is I don't want to be a monologue. I want Mr. Anand to Mr. chip in, and we'll have some fun. So.
Thanks so much, Dr. Vaidyanathan. It was indeed nice to know about the student experience that SP Jain Global puts emphasis on. And of course, you spoke about safety of students and the spiritual quotient. That's a new term to me. And I would definitely like to think about the spiritual quotient, because I think every one of us needs that.
IQ plus EQ plus SQ makes you a better person.
I understand, and I can't agree more. Great, sir. So a few questions which are getting repeated, but the frequently asked questions, let's address that first. Does the SP Jain Global Institute have IPM program, which is BBA plus MBA? I understand no, but you can confirm that.
No, hold on. IPM.
IPM, Integrated Program in Management. So does SP Jain Global offer a BBA plus MBA combined program?
We have one of the top-notch PG programs in the world. And guess what? It's a one-year program. So a student can typically go through 4 years of BBA and also sign up for a 1 year, what is called GMBA or MGB. And at the end of 5 years, they will have a BBA and an MBA. Yes, we don't call it, integrated program, but it is, right? Think about it, right? 4 years BBA, 1 year of MBA.
Correct. So just to be sure, the admission needs to be taken separately. It's not 5 years admission right now.
Yeah,
is it technically the case?
Yeah, but to tell you the truth, if you are a SP Jain alumni, definitely we'll look at you because we have all the data we need in the past 4 years. So to me, even though the admission is not automatic, it's to me, it's a no-brainer. As long as you're doing well, you're going to graduate. I'll put you on a fast track. I'll put you in touch with my admission director and take care of it. That's not an issue at all.
Thanks for clarifying that. Can you throw some light on the admission process for 2021 intake and beyond?
Absolutely. The one thing, so many questions I'm usually asked, and you can see some of my articles written in the last couple of months. People are very worried that the +2 exams, the board exams, CBSE has been postponed. At this point, there's no clarity. Someone's maybe end of June, maybe July. And I actually wrote an article, you can Google this. And I said, while it's going to cause a ripple effect across the board, we are not very concerned. I'll tell you why. Number one, our program starts in September. Our intake, our new batch for the undergrad starts in September, point number one. So my hope is by the time people finish up their exams and get the number. But the most important point I want to make, when I sit down with my admissions team, for every student, there are several data points we have. Example, how do you perform in 10th standard, 10th grade, 12th grade? Okay. How was your entrance scores? How did the student perform in the interview process? We'll talk more about it later on. Okay, by the way, extracurricular activities. Okay, did these people represent the school or district or whatever in tennis or swimming or basketball or whatnot? So my point is, sir, we don't look at a single metric. We populate a spreadsheet with multiple data points about a student. So the only missing data for me as of today for a student would be the +2 results. But I've already gone through the interview process. We already started the interview process many months ago. I've personally done about close to 100 interviews for undergrad students. So I already have pretty much all the data I need except for my +2 exam results. So in many cases, we're giving out a conditional admission subject to you getting the results back to us once it's available. So in that sense, it's a very seamless process for admission. Again, if you want information, go to our website. I'm happy to send you the link, if you will, in a few minutes, and click on it. We're giving you a step-by-step process in terms of how to apply. And once you apply with all the documents, we'll have you sit through an interview process. Typically, it's a panel. The typical panel will have perhaps a faculty and it'll have an alumni. And in some cases, it'll have an industry person as well. Okay, so they sit and they discuss, they talk to the candidate, and that data is also captured by my system, right? So the quick response to your question, sir, is that the admissions process is, number one, very seamless. Number two, it's not just one data point. I'm not looking at only the SAT score or ACT score or whatnot. We look at multiple data points. And then we already have all that information ready to go, but for that last data point in terms of the +2 exam scores. But we already have doled out admission to several people, subject to verifying that they perform well in the +2 exams.
Okay, so are you highlighting that writing some exams, say maybe SAT or anything else, it's not mandatory to get into the program? Eventually, it is the 12th standard marks which will decide the fate of the student's application. Is that a fair statement?
No, it's not a fair statement. No,
Just wanted to be sure.
The exam results are only one data point. We have our own SP Jain exam. So if someone has not taken the SAT or ACT, they can still take our SP Jain exam, and that is good enough. So the point I'm trying to make, sir, is the +2 exam is only one among the several data points that we pick up before we accept the student into our program.
Thanks for the clarity, sir. And when is the immediate next attempt of SP Jain entrance exam? Would you have idea about the dates? Or are there rolling dates?
It's a rolling date. What I'll do is, by the time we finish this webinar, I'm going to have my colleague, Mr. Randeep Singh, will actually type into the chat box when is the next exam. It's a rolling process where...
That will be great, sir. Yeah, that will definitely help.
Yeah, Randeep will do that. Randeep will take care of that.
Sure. A few questions like, is maths compulsory to write the exam, etc., etc.? So these are typical questions, and rightly so. So is it a criteria, having taken maths in 11th or 12th, to write the entrance exam to SP Jain?
Not for the BBA, but certainly for the BDS. If you really want to do a program in data sciences, okay, you cannot be a data scientist without having a passion towards math, perhaps computer science, and perhaps a bit of statistics, right? So math is definitely required if you want to do a BDS degree.
That's great, sir. And as a format of the exam will be, the details will be available on the website?
Absolutely, sir. And Rantir will also type in
Sure.
the link in the chat window, shortly.
Sure, that will be nice, sir. One common question is, what do students do after BBA, apart from maybe taking a job or doing an MBA? Are there any other avenues that they look for?
Well, like I said, typically either they pick up a job. This could be in Australia, India, Middle East or Singapore, because that's where we have our campuses. Number two, many of them come from family-owned businesses, so they decide to go back and join their family. Of late, this is beautiful. You'll appreciate this. So what we are seeing is a very interesting data. What we're seeing is many of students decide to actually go start up their own business. And the reason why they have this comfort level, sir, is because while we support and offer assistance for placement, we also tell the student, hey, you want to go open a company? Go. Take a sabbatical for 2 years. Suppose it's not successful, come back to us. We'll help you. We'll provide the support you need. We'll put you into the companies, right? So the sabbatical has given a lot of students some sense of confidence that they can go out and start their own business. So, and many of them decide to go pick up a PG, postgraduate degree. I can see a lot of transition to that as well. So most of them pick up a job, and I look at my current batch is going to graduate. Almost 70% of them already are placed in companies. They all want a job because they all want to take advantage of the 2-year post-study work rights in Australia. Of course, they haven't joined any company as yet because the borders are closed, but eventually, once the borders are open, legally they can work in Australia for 2 years if they choose to.
That situation comes very soon. We are all waiting to just go out, but obviously the situation stops us.
The typical question usually asked webinars is, hey, do you know when the borders are going to open? I go like, if I have the answer, I'll become like Warren Buffett. I'll become a billionaire, right?
Yeah, I agree.
I only worry about things I can control. Okay, things I can control, I'm going to give my 300% effort. Things I cannot control, I let the system take charge. Meaning in this case, it's a government of Australia. And you guys know this, right? Lots of up and down. Scott Morrison, the current PM, has been going back and forth several things. I won't get to that. I don't want to get political over here. Our hope is, and guess what? We have a great team in place, which is in constant touch with the local government. This is in Singapore, this is in Sydney, and in Dubai. Of course, in Mumbai, it's mostly the BMC, the Bombay Municipal Corporation, right? So we are praying this every indication, being optimistic, that hopefully by January 22, I'm hoping, don't hold me to it. I know this is being recorded. Don't hold me to it. We are hoping by January 2022, the borders are going to open. Why 22 January? Because at that point, a good portion of people in Australia would have got vaccinated. That's a hope, even though Australia started a little bit late in terms of vaccination. But I'm hoping by January, they open up and then all our students can go and experience Sydney, Australia. Beautiful city to experience, yeah.
Yeah, I think limited population makes things slightly easy for smaller countries in terms of population, like Australia. It's a big country, but possibly it's the population density which helps us to get vaccinated faster than others.
Correct.
Where will the students be placed in year 1? That's one commonly asked question, and whether they will be allowed to continue in the same location throughout if the situation forces them to do that.
Okay, so our typical structure, Mr. Anand, for the last many years is year 1, they go to Singapore, year 2, Dubai, years 3 and 4 in Sydney. Okay. Now, with the current situation in Singapore, as you all know, things have got a little bit difficult in the last 10 days or so in Singapore. We are still offering, so our BBA, for example, BBA 2021, we are offering 3 choices. You either come to Dubai, we are happy to take you in Dubai because thankfully things are under control over here in Dubai. We have a beautiful campus over in Dubai. Or we're talking about September intake. Okay, hopefully Singapore would get, now I think by June 13th, Singapore government is going to decide in terms of the border openings and restrictions and whatnot. Or you can go to Singapore year one. Initially, we are also offering Mumbai year one, but the brief feedback we got from BMC is that they said don't count on it. Don't count on it. So at this point, it's Dubai, Singapore. I'm going to say Mumbai/online. I mean, if it's not going to be Mumbai, we still have an online option students can pick up, which many of the students, even the 2020 batch, did. So I'll give you an example. September 2020, I had a bunch of them who actually went to Singapore. A second portion decided to come to Dubai, and a third portion decided to go online. In this third portion of online, what happened is that for the second semester, a bunch of them said, okay, we had a great experience, but we want to do face-to-face. So they all came to Dubai. Do you understand? So because we have these different campuses, we have amazing infrastructure, we have resources, we have faculty, we have this flexibility in terms of the process. So going back to your question, at this point, year one, 2021 September, Dubai, perhaps Singapore is also an option. And the third option is online/Mumbai. But if Mumbai is not going to work, online is always an option. This is for semester one, year one.
Okay. Yeah, I think that was a great clarity, because as things unfold, obviously the options are also going to increase.
Well, beyond these three cities, we want to give that experience. We want all students to get to Dubai, all students to have the Singapore experience. And of course, Sydney is the ultimate, if you will. So we don't want them to lose out, but you know what? We can't control everything in life, So if online is the safest for us, we never, ever will compromise on student safety and security. So if it means so, but like I told you, the bunch of people in Dubai now, they're actually doing online semester one. And then they came to Dubai semester two. So in that sense, we have the flexibility and we have that resources where we can do all these, shuffling around without compromising on student safety.
Thank you, sir. There are a few questions about placements after BBA. I think I should direct those queries to the website.
The website, or they can even check on the website has a bunch of information about the BBA 2016 batch, which graduated last May. And we are just about waiting for the BBA 2017 to leave campus, but many of them are already being placed. So the entire placement data will be uploaded in the next couple of months for the current batch that just graduated.
That's great, sir. Another commonly asked question is, are there any scholarship options open?
Of course. Of course. If you are truly deserving, what do I mean by that? Great in the 10th standard, great in the 12th standard. Hey, you represent your school or college or not college, district. We have people who are under 19, representatives. We have people who actually play for district level. We had people who are musicians, people who are into dancing. So we take all of those very seriously. And yes, we do our scholarship. We have a number of students in this current batch who are on scholarship. That scholarship is purely determined by your profile. And a lot of them do get scholarship.
So how can students get information about scholarships?
You apply, and once you go through the process, and once I sign off on the admissions, it goes to my committee, which deals scholarship. They look at the entire profile of the student, look at, I told you the data points, they're ranked ordered, and they decide, how much they should get. Everything is done automatically. Students don't have to ask, if they have very good scores, guess what? I would love to have these students in my classroom. When they graduate, they're going to be my alumni. They're going to be ambassadors. So if someone has been performing well in school, got into extracurricular activities, doing well, I want them to join my institution because they're only going to make us better going forward.
That's great, sir. So I think most of the questions are now getting repeated. Any ideas about 2022 batch intake? I think that's quite some time ahead and it's very difficult to predict right now.
Oh my God! If
So
wishes,
I mean, chill out.
yeah, exactly.
These
You know
students
what?
must have just entered 12th standard, so take your time.
Enjoy life, man. Enjoy life. I mean, I tell people, current scenario, forget about life skills. First, enjoy life, then worry about life skills. Okay. If life is not there, where is it going to life skills? So chill, have a great time. 2022 will happen. We're not going to go anywhere. Like I said, we are already 18 years old. We're not going to go anywhere. You'll still have this amazing opportunity. So enjoy your 12th standard, my friend. Please enjoy it. Don't get too caught up with the nonsense. There's too much of fake information out there. Don't get caught up with it.
Sure, sir. So I think let's spend next 5 to 7 minutes on the actual admission process. Any links that Mr. Ranveer wants to share with us, or anything which will help the students get one step ahead now in showing or in expressing their interest towards
Absolutely.
SP Jain.
Yeah, Ranveer, can you unmute your mic and just provide this information to the students, please?
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, Ranveer. We can hear you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. And it is really indeed a great session. I can see a lot of questions coming which are much more relevant to us as an institution. And we are more than happy to answer. Most of them has been answered brilliantly by you. And I think it satisfies the interest of the students. And considering that in mind, coming to the admission process. So the admission process is not very vast over here. First, you have to apply online. You have to fill an online application form. It doesn't need to pay anything immediately at the time of applications submission. Followed by, once your application would be submitted, there would be a screening process in place when your application would be screened by our admission team just to see whether you are fitting into the admission pre-requirements or not. If you are fitting into all the requirements, then you would be asked to take up the test. You will be invited to attend the test. For that, you have to make a payment of $45. Followed by once you clear the test, you will be invited for the evals, that is interview. You have to make a payment of $55 for that. And once you clear all these processes and submit all the documents, upon your selection, you would be invited with the offer letter to join the program. So what all you need to do is that interested students, if there is any query, question, you can definitely park in. Shweta can definitely drop the details of the concerned person I have shared with you. So you can write to them directly or reach out to them directly. And then once you submit all these claims or whatever the questions, queries you are having, it would be taken one-on-one basis. So what you have to do is you have to initiate the process. The people who are interested in, you have to initiate the process. Yes, thanks, Shweta. You have just submitted the details of the concerned person. So to all the attendees who are interested, they can get in touch with Jyoti from our end. Jyoti will guide you towards the next procedure, how to complete the application form and other formalities. And followed by that, once the process will be completed, you will be informed regarding the offer. And the students, I saw there are many questions coming around the scholarship also. The scholarships are 100% merit-based. There are few cases we do consider based on the extra co-curricular basis. The merit-based scholarship ranges between 10% to 100%, depending on how well you have performed in Standard 10 and Standard 12, what your grades are going to be. Just to give an assurance to all the students who are a bit uncertain due to the uncertain situation which has erupted due to the ongoing pandemic. There are lots of boards who are, almost every board examination, so in the class 12, is still undecided, except the IBI. Yes, they have decided that they are not going with the examination. They will do internal evaluation, and then based on that, they will be declaring the grades. But apart from that, state board and CBSE, ICSE, these all board students, those who have appeared for the board examination of Standard 12 and waiting for some confirmation. In case if the exam is getting cancelled, then there will be a possibility whereas the student has to will be given a grant based on best score in 10th standard or 11th standard, or whatever the score would be given, decided by the board to give you the grades based on your internal assessment, like pre-board examinations and other aspects. So that is going to be taken into consideration.
Yeah,
so regarding that, also one announcement I just want to make, that we are going to have an open day. The students who are interested and willing to take this up at this point in time, they can apply and appear for the test and evals on the very same day. They have to register themselves for the open day. They can go to the website of ours. They can apply. Our team will be reaching out to you. Coming Sunday, that test and evals is scheduled. Before that, those who are interested and want to prepare, if you are willing to get some sample papers, that would be also provided by my team. So I would request all the participants, whoever is interested, don't waste much time. You can get in touch with the number shared by Shweta in the chat box. You can just get in touch with the relevant team, and yes, it will be taken forward, and we are there to guide you throughout.
Yeah, let me again, the one question that many people are asked, I want to emphasize what Mr. Randhir has said. Certainly, merit-based scholarships are available. And this current batch that came to campus in September 2020, a number of them, okay, actually got a very high scholarship. So it ranges anywhere from, say, 10, 15% to almost 95 to 100% of your tuition fee. It's purely based on merit, okay? And we are very proud of that now, because that's a great way for us to actually provide this facility to students who are very good. And it is in our best interest to also have them join our institution, so because they're going to be our ambassadors going forward. Okay, that's a point. We have a rolling admissions process, which means you pretty much apply. As soon as you apply, it's better for you. And don't be too concerned about the fact you don't have your +2 scores in hand. That's true for many, many people. Get through the process, okay? Go through the interview process. And like I said, we have this multiple data points. We look at, let's populate, how you perform. You already have 10th, okay? You had the entrance exam, how you perform the interview process. Let's get through all of those. And then, once you get your +2 marks, we'll get that tip from you as well. So, and like I said, the good news for us is our intake starts in September. Unlike many schools where it's July, our new batch comes to campus in September. So the fact that the +2 exam results are going to be delayed is a cause of concern, but from our standpoint, it is not, because we have time till September to make these things happen. So I cannot emphasize enough on that part. So I see a lot of these questions about that. Internships, many of them are paid, some of them unpaid. So it's totally depending upon which organization. As we speak today, I was able to find internship in Dubai for a bunch of my students, and 90% of the internships are all paid. Okay, they get paid every month for the next 4 months. So it depends upon the kind of requirement, but in most cases, when I reach out to my own contacts, I kind of insist in a very nice way, hey, it's better you pay them, because they're going to stay put, to take care of accommodation and food and whatnot. So mostly paid, but some of them also unpaid, but the unpaid ones are the ones who are also going to give you an amazing exposure to the company. Okay. So yeah, so I saw that question was also common in terms of the process. Any other questions that we need to answer, Mr. Anand or Ms. Shweta?
Yes, sir. I think we have answered most of the common queries, and we had a great time. I mean, I can see a lot of questions still coming in, but most of them have been already answered. So,
someone says, is there any undergraduate degree related to computers available in SP Jain? My friend, everything requires a computer now these days, right? Whether it's laptop or desktop or in fact, your own mobile phone, your smartphone becomes a computer. But we're talking about a program, our BDS program, a bachelor's program in data sciences, certainly would require you to, work on coding, so we teach students R, we teach them Python, we teach them Tableau, Hadoop, AWS, SQL. I can go on and on. But that program is very, 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 very closely linked to data sciences. If that's what you mean by computer, yes. But pretty much any program requires you to have a laptop, right?
So there are some issues. So yes, I think we are almost towards the end of the session, and it was a wonderful one. As I mentioned earlier, the aspirants should feel free to contact the admission office of SP Jain for any more information. Thanks so much, Dr. Vaidyanathan.
Yeah, very simple, sir. Sorry to interrupt you, but if there's any question, the website is very simple. SP Jain, spjain.org. Any information, someone said, I want to know the fee structure. Guess what? Please go. It's published. Placement, published for the 16 batch. Curriculum. So we have, what I didn't talk about, Mr. Anand, is we have the BBA, it's a 4-year degree. We also have the BDS, it's a 3-year degree. Okay. We also have what is called BEC, that's a bachelor's degree in economics. Okay, that's a 3-year degree. And we have BBC, that's Bachelor's of Business Communication. So we have actually 4 different undergrad degrees that we offer, and you have a pick. Pretty much it depends on your preference, your choices. So we have students who are enrolled in all the 4 degrees. The only difference is the BBA is a 4-year degree, but the other 3 are 3-year degrees. But all our degrees, UG, PG, or doctorate, DBA, are all accredited by Australian Council. So it's all of them are Australian degrees. Okay, our MBA, we have 2 different types of MBA program. They're all again 1-year program, right? 1-year program where you still have the multi-campus exposure. We also have EMBA for people with experience. We have a DBA for people who actually are very brave enough to go get a doctorate degree from SP Jain. So our undergrad program, there are 4 different types, and they're all doing quite well. But my point is, go to the website, the curriculum, what do we teach semester 1, semester 2, year 1, year 2, year 3, the faculty we have, the policies, the governance, anything your parents want, it's out there. But having said that, our admissions team, their #1 job is to answer any queries you might have. That's our job. We do it together, right? So any questions that are not being answered today, please feel free to contact them. Either Ms. Randir or his team members will be very happy to take up the questions. They can call you on the phone. It doesn't matter which part of the world you are, we'll call you. Of course, WhatsApp, bottom, whatever you want, or laptop, whatever it is. We are here to answer your queries. The only thing I want to mention on our way out is this program is a game changer. We have had a 17-year history of doing things in SP Jain, and we looked at multiple batches graduate every single year, was spread across the entire globe, so to speak. So it's not something that occurred overnight. It's not one of those fly in the night kind of program. It's a program that's been accredited in Australia, okay? But we also have the local accreditation in Singapore and Dubai, and of course in Mumbai as well. So it's very highly accredited, and it's going to completely transform you going forward. That's our mantra going forward. I think we have only one person who's raised his hand, Mr. Anand. Who is this?
Yeah, Rinki wants to ask something. It looks like, Rinki, it will be great if you can post your query in the Q&A box, and in case it has not been covered earlier, sir will be happy to answer that. Or of course, as he said, you can visit the website and you will get every possible information.
Everything you want. I mean, the website is a beautiful repository of information. I mean, rich information on UG, PG, DBA, EMBA. But if you focus on UG, it'll keep you busy for a couple of hours. But even after that, you want more information? Email my team. Mr. Randir and his team are ready to take up, look at emails or phone calls or whatnot. Everything that needs to be done to answer your queries. At the end of the day, please feel comfortable. Okay, we're not going to force anyone to join us. I'll tell you why. It's a very intense program. Much as I talk about the outside the classroom experience, because it's an Australian degree, we are very highly accredited. We make sure that we keep our students busy in the classroom. Okay, I would love to see you in my office for the right reason, if you know what I mean.
Thanks so much, Dr. Vaidyanathan and Mr. Andhir. We are about to close this session exactly 1 hour, so we are on time. So thanks everyone for joining us as well, and hope you have a great evening.
Yeah, other participants, please type in your queries, and I think the team in IMS will collate all those and then send it to Randhir and his team. Okay, so don't worry. If we haven't answered your questions, please type it in the chat box or on our question Q&A box. The beautiful team in IMS will collate all those and share them with Mr. Randhir and his team. Okay.
Yes.
Trust me. We
will definitely reach out to each one of you. We will not leave any question unanswered.
Absolutely. Sure. At the end of the day, it's your choice, but we want to make sure you make the right choice.
Sure.
Thanks everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
People, please stay safe and please mask it up. Please. Thank you.
That was a great conclusion, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.